have we been talking about this week? We've been talking about a continuation of our spiritual practice, thinking. Thinking is a spiritual practice. And I really would encourage you to think about it that way, because when do we do our spiritual practice? We do our spiritual practice every day. And when do we think? We are thinking all of the time. There is no time when we are not thinking. Even when we're meditating, we are thinking, right? And one of the purposes of meditation is to keep ourselves grounded, not to get sucked in with the thoughts that are constantly going on in our mind, that chitter chatter that's happening, to stay grounded in that. So we're going to spend a little time with thinking, our thoughts. And I want to start off with the Bible. So I am reading from the Seek, Find Bible for All People. This is a great translation of the Bible. It's in like today's language. It's really easy, especially for children. It's really easy for them to read because it's in our today's language. So I'm going to read from Romans 12:2. And keep in mind, thinking. And it says, don't be like the people of the world, but let God change the way you think. Then you will know how to do everything that is good and pleasing. Yes. So transforming our minds, the renewal of our minds is what we are talking about today when we think about thinking. When we talk about thinking, that's what we're going to spend a little time with today. So thinking, remember the law of thinking? So the law of thinking includes how we think. We think orderly, disciplined, and constructively. That's how we want to think. Now, with that being said, you could think orderly, disciplined, and constructively and be thinking negative thoughts, right? And negative thoughts in an orderly way, negative thoughts in a disciplined way, and negative thoughts in a constructive way. And what will be outpictured? What will be the effect of those patterns of thinking? Negativity. So we want to get in the mindset, the consciousness, that elevated consciousness of having orderly, disciplined, and constructive thoughts that are pleasing to the one source that dwells within us. That is good, because God is good. We say, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and when someone said God is good, everybody said all the time. So I know all y'all just said all the time. So pleasing, good, orderly, constructive, disciplined thoughts will outpicture and have the effect of good as a pattern in your life. Who wants good as a pattern in their life? I know I do. Yes. So that's what we're going to be sipping on as we think about thinking as a spiritual practice. So I want to read you something. And I mentioned this book yesterday as a resource, and it is a wonderful resource. Working with the Law by Raymond Holloway. And this is what he has to say about the law of thinking. Man is constantly thinking. He can change his thought, but he cannot stop thinking. This thinking flows in and through him like the very air we breathe. Man's problem then is to direct his power of thinking into constructive channels of expression. It is a scientific fact that no power can act without producing some kind of effect, and by merely thinking, we are continually producing effects. These effects register and record in daily life. When our thoughts are aimless and imperfect, we create for ourselves pain and confusion. This is misdirected energy. Now, electricity Now, electric energy, when it is misdirected and uncontrolled, develops lightning, a most destructive agent. Yet that same power of lightning can be harnessed to become a most obedient and useful servant for good. The question in our self-development is, are we controlled by our thoughts, or are we controlling our thoughts? So Jesus says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added. Heaven is a state of mind. Heaven is a state of mind. It is a consciousness. Just like hell is a consciousness. Heaven is a state of mind. Therefore, heaven is orderly, disciplined, constructive state of thinking. To gain all things, we must first gain a disciplined, orderly, constructive state of mind. Have you a disciplined mind? What is your pattern of thinking? And this week, we're just binge watching our thoughts. We're just checking out what's there. And check out the orderly, disciplined. Are your thoughts orderly, disciplined, and constructive for good, for positivity, for what it is that you want to create in your life, not what you don't want? Don't have thoughts of don't want. Check out those thoughts and replace them with what you want. So that's what we rock in this week. The law of thinking, binge watch your thinking, spiritual practice as thinking. Okay, so I think that's what I want to leave you all with. So peace and blessings to you all, and enjoy.